Hi, everybody. This is Joy LaChere, and we have Toby C Brady with us today. We are going to be interviewing him. But before we start, I'm going to give a shout out for the Luscious Moss Studio. And Chad Quist is the owner and operator in Edgewood, Washington. He's also on Facebook, and you can find him under Chad Quist or Luscious Moss. Also, he has a very collaborative and creative environment set up in his studio. And he's mostly geared for drummers and guitarists, but lately he's been doing a lot of other things and he does my recording. So give him a shout out if you have any needs. All right, Toby, how did you get started in music?
By bouncing on my dad's knee.
Oh, yeah. Was
No,
he a
just
drummer?
no, I was.
Oh,
He didn't know it.
oh,
Uh, they tell me stories, like when you were a little kid type stories, and the marching band would come by in the parade, and I would just going with the beat, and
right.
just pretty much anything that had to do with music. All the way growing up, I was right in it from an early age. You know, fifth grade started playing guitar. So actually, somewhere around maybe fourth grade, started playing guitar.
Yeah.
Somewhere around in there, and then just it escalated from there.
All right. So when did you get your first drum set?
Um, Gosh, my first drum set was probably I was about 19 or 20 maybe, and I still
Wow.
have it.
Well,
I
what were
still
you
have my
playing?
first guitar too.
So what were you playing
What's
on
that?
during that time?
Oh, that was an old Slingerland copy that was a junk kit that I resuscitated back to life. I got it for dirt cheap, so I had to fix it basically to make it my own. But I was excited because at least I had a drum kit. I didn't have any cymbals, but I had a drum kit. So
Oh, all right. So who were you listening to at that time? Who was your influence?
oh gosh, at that time it was Motorhead, The Doors, um, the Misfits, Hanoi Rocks, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
TSOL, yeah, some underground, punk rock, indie stuff.
Did you do
I
any
was, I've
outlaw?
never. What's that?
Did you ever do any outlaw country?
Oh yeah, yeah. One of my first bands I did, we had the bass player's or the keyboard player's mom played bass, and we had two shows that we would do. We'd do a country one, and then we had a guitar player that hated country. So if we got a
Huh.
rock gig, we'd call him up and he'd do the rock gigs with us. But if we had a country gig, we'd just roll as a three piece.
Yeah.
So I've been doing. I grew up in Wyoming, so you can't not do
Oh,
country.
okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I did all that, and I mean, but when you're younger, I just wanted to rock. So
Yeah.
that's all there was. When I was 14, my mom and dad sent me to Nashville to try to get me to go down the straight and narrow path of that good wholesome country music, and I wasn't having it. So
Well, I don't know that Nashville was that straight, but
well, they thought it was, according to I mean, they watched Hee Haw every week. Those people looked okay, right?
yeah, right.
Yeah, that's about what it was right there. It was just one of those, you could really sing country if you tried. I was like, I'm 14 and I don't want to sing country,
Yeah, I get it. So, what was your first paying gig?
Pardon me?
How old were you, and what was your, or not how old, but what in this process, what was your first paying gig?
Technically, I was maybe 12, something like that. So I don't know if you've heard of the country singer Bill Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got up and sang with him at a rodeo arena, and he gave me some money for that. And he said, "Have you ever been paid to sing?" And I said, "No." And he hands me a $10 bill and says, "Now you have. You're a professional young man." And then he invited me back into his bus and told me, "Oh, if you're good to Nashville," that kind of thing, and that kind of sparked my parents to do it. And yeah, that was the first one. But then I was 16 and I was fronting a classic rock cover band that were all 8 guys that are like in their 50s. They were a bunch of Vietnam vets.
Yeah.
And I was a 16-year-old little punk, and I was singing all the Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top songs for the biker bars in Sturgis and Deadwood, South Dakota. So
Oh, we have a comment here. It said, I lived in Wyoming for 19 years. Lots of country music, but they didn't identify themselves. So please put your name on here if you're going to make comments so we can greet you and know who you are. All right. Thanks for the comment. So moving along from there, you were in bands, but today I understand that you've done a lot of solo music where you're a one
Yep.
man band. Uh oh. Come back, Toby. Oh, no. Oh, Rose. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're still waiting for Toby to come back. Yeah. Here we go.
Oops, sorry.
Hi, Toby.
My bad. I was
Okay.
trying to look at the chat, but I can't. I'm not going to mess with it while I'm live. Then.
Yeah. So,
Okay. You
yeah,
were saying.
Toby, can I tell him where you're at?
Just got done with the shift at the SeaTac airport.
Yeah. And he's in his van. It's hot out. I hope he's cool enough.
Oh, I'm
And
fine. This
there
is
you
my
go.
home
That
away from home.
van.
Got my
Right.
bed back here, everything.
All right. So
Yeah.
he took the time out of his busy day to come on and talk to us. And that was Rose, a friend of mine, Rose Smith. And she was saying she lived in Wyoming. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, I looked up by
now I
Devil's Tower.
understand why she likes my music. I sing country. So going from the time that you had your first rock bands, classic rock, and moving forward on that, when did you start doing solos? And was there anything in between there that's worth
Oh, yeah. There's a
bringing
lot
out?
in between. I mean,
Okay.
I lived in LA for a while during the late 80s, during when that was all going. Then I moved to Seattle right at 89. So I got in on that grunge
Wow.
movement. Got to open for Soundgarden and all the, greats. Surfed that wave when it came through. We made a pretty good name for ourselves locally, and that was a lot of fun. Then after that quit, I took a few years just to regroup and figure out what I was doing. And then I started a country rock band called Lost Dogma, and we were together off different configurations, but maybe 14 years,
Wow.
something like that. So yeah, had 4 records out with them, and
Yeah.
that I wrote, and yeah, then I just, out of necessity, quite honestly, I just started doing the solo stuff because I'm stubborn and I don't like to wait for people, and I hate the fact that, if you find a good drummer that he's in 19 other bands. So
Yeah.
I'm just over all that. I'm just not even looking. I just do it myself, play drums with my feet.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've never heard you, but I sure would like to.
I'll come out to a show. Yeah, I have a custom made drum kit that I play with my feet.
Cool. I did see one other person. I was at Twin Rivers Brewery in Monroe, and somebody came out there and was playing. And I have a feeling you're probably a little more sophisticated.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Somebody says Sneaking Beacon in Casper.
Oh yeah, I know that place.
All
The
right.
Beacon, yeah, absolutely.
And then like Cubby.
Cubby,
Cubby.
yeah, I know a guy named Cubby. He was a drummer, played with me for a while. Good buddy of mine. Yeah,
All right.
maybe
So
that's him.
is that are you Cubby? Who put these notes on here about Wyoming? Okay. So I think I understand this solo stuff. I mean, I don't. Unfortunately, I didn't start early enough to be able to do all those things, but it is very difficult to keep a band together today
Oh
because
yeah.
there's so many different gigs that they're going to besides yours.
Well, I used to go to the barn dances out at the old country schoolhouse and talk them into the band and to let me get up in between on their breaks and sing. And so I would get up there with my little acoustic guitar and play my 3 songs, and I get an encore, and I only knew 3 songs, so I'd play all my 3 songs again. And they were And now that I look back, I thought I was killing it, but I'm sure that they were just being nice to me.
Yeah. Well,
But I was just doing it, I mean, it's just, I just never have not done it, and then even in bands, I would go out and do solo gigs all the time with just me and an acoustic, just to keep gigging, this is what I do for a living. So I've
so
just been trying to build it up.
you never went back to Wyoming then, to live or anything?
No.
So can I ask you about the airport?
Sure.
Yeah. What is
Um,
that?
Most,
How did this gig happen?
kind of like it does for every gig, you just hear about it and you submit your stuff and then you get accepted. They've been doing live music at the SeaTac airport for 10 years now. I've been a part of it for about 8.5. I actually run the whole program right now. So that's kind of a cool thing. It's with a company called Gigs for You. And yeah, they do 4 shows a day, 7 days a week. And it started off with the SeaTac put out a call. They were looking for music to play on the in-flight systems. As people get close to Seattle, they can sample local music. And I had a couple songs that got accepted for that. And then they would be playing in the terminal at random points. Like when I flew out a couple times, I'd hear my song playing overhead in the overheads. And then it started off as a trial run. They wanted to do live music, and it just exploded from there. And now it's just a part of the airport, part of the experience of going to SeaTac now.
Well, I was out there a couple times, and the first person I ran into was Dave Harmonson.
Exactly. He just played with me on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, did he? Are you in band together, or he plays
No,
at the airport?
he's a hired gun guy kind of guy. I had a gig up at the Everett Historic Theater opening for Rare Earth on Saturday, and I had hired Country Dave to come play. I've known him for a long time too, so I just needed a gunslinger,
And I do too.
He's the
Every now
one.
and then I
Yep.
get him.
Yep, exactly. So when I have
Also,
a big show like that, I have an upright bass player friend of mine that plays, and then I've got several different other players that I can call on to come in and play lead stuff if I need to. But I can also do this whole thing. I have octave pedals. I've got all kinds of pedals on my feet. I don't need anybody else.
yeah, gotcha. So yeah, he says Cubby Casual,
Oh, I know Cubby. Absolutely.
it is him.
Big loves to Cubs.
So another one I haven't seen yet, but I know that he goes out there because he advertises, and that's Michael Powers.
Oh yeah, Michael. Yep.
Oh, he's a great player. He's been interviewed on this channel. So
okay, excellent. Yeah, I've known Michael for 30 some years.
Yeah. So how do you run into these people to play at the airport? I mean, how does that work?
Well, they go to Gigs for You, and then they have to submit their material,
Wow.
and then it gets vetted and made sure. I mean, you got to be a pro. You can't just.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know like 4 Stain songs, and I can play them like over and over for the next 2 hours. No, you got to. Everybody that's working at the airport playing is out there in the scene doing it. All the names of people that are out there making a living.
Right.
Being a musician, you got to have a website, you got to have CDs, you got to have a presence. They're not just hiring just anybody.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
those are kind of high-powered guns you have.
Yeah, it's a long waiting list. I'm not going to lie, because it's a good gig, and a lot of people want to get it. That I understand, but it's worth it if you can wait it out. Just get on the list and.
Got it. It sounds like a lot of hard work because you're a busy man.
It is. I played 187 shows last year, and I'm on track for about 130 this year so far.
Wow.
So hopefully I'll get some more.
How do you keep it all straight?
Google Calendar.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I've been a promoter and a booker. It's like you just develop a system, and as long as you stay on it and treat it like a job, it's fine. You can't do it, sporadically, just like anything, and be successful. You have to get up every day and hammer it out. And if you don't, then you're going to fall behind, and then you're going to be playing catch up the whole time. It's like I'm booking January 24 already.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
So this way you do. I mean, this is your life, right? You don't have any other jobs. You just this keeps you
I
busy.
run sound sometimes when I fill the holes to, from when I don't have a gig, and I'll pick up a sound gig here and there. I'm a professional audio
Oh,
engineer.
that's good to know.
So yeah, I have a very good resume on that end too. But um, I only do that maybe once or twice a month at different venues. When they call me and they need somebody to fill in or whatever. I
Right.
used to be the house sound guy at several different venues. At High Dive, I helped start the Hard Rock Cafe in Seattle. I installed that whole PA system. I've been around. I used to run Doc Maynard's back in the day. Um, I was a sound guy there for a long time, and so I've learned how to make a living on both ends of the microphone.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's what it takes today. I mean, it's
oh,
it's
it does. Yeah, and that's how you meet the people. If you're just
yeah,
doing one thing, you're not going to meet. But it was really nice to um, run sound, and then I get to meet all the players and find out who's doing what. And,
exactly.
yeah, and so I love running sound. It's not like a chore to me. It's a passion that I actually have. Even in junior high, I was in charge of the school PA, and I would load it up on Friday night and take it home and go do gigs with the school PA. And so yeah, it's been a thing for me for a long time.
So, what was your most memorable time when you were playing with others, when you were playing rock and so forth? Can you remember anything that stood out and you said, I might be on the right track here?
I mean, when you write a song and you look out and there's 1,000 people singing your lyrics back to you,
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
yeah,
You know, when people write you letters and notes that say how much you moved them with your music or that kind of stuff. I get that a lot, especially at the airport. People traveling through, you never know what their day's like. Maybe they're going to bury their grandma
yeah.
and you are playing a song that strikes a chord with them, and so they'll come over and they'll drop a note in your guitar case, and then you don't see it till you get home, and then you're like, oh wow, I was making an impact today and I didn't even realize it you know
Yeah. I know.
but
So you get
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. So that even on those days that you feel like, what am I doing, you
Yeah.
get one of those, then that makes up for the rest of all the other times.
Yes, the music business has its rewards.
Oh yeah, it's ebb and flow. It's like I remember playing a gig to a sold out show years ago, and thinking I was king of the world and blah blah blah, and then but the next morning I wake up and I go to my painting job, and I'm up on the building and I'm sitting there painting with the roller, and I look down and I still had all my rings on from the night before, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm some rock star now, painting houses, or whatever it was to get by at the time. But I just always knew that this is where it was at for me, and I just needed to find my path,
Yeah.
and you never know until you just keep going down the roads until you find that road that's like, oh yeah, this is where Toby belongs, and then you just go down that road and see where it goes.
I got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that. So, how long, do you have a vision of what can you see yourself or what you might be doing the next 5 years?
Hopefully, like I always just try, even running sound and doing everything, you just try to step it up every year, right?
Right.
So you reach a plateau, and maybe you're at this level playing this level clubs, but now you're ready for the next level. So I'm constantly submitting to festivals and just trying to get it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to keep moving. Like right now, my next goal is I want to step it up to the next level of venues. I play a lot of wineries and breweries, which is
Right.
great. I love that. It's pretty good money, but if I could play theaters and open another show for other acts, I did the math one time a long time ago and I can't remember all the numbers, but if you could play 1,000-seat venue 4 times a week and come close to selling it out, that's a pretty good living. You know, if you do the math, and that's where I'd like to be. You don't have to have number one hit songs to make a living at this.
Right.
You don't have
So
to compete with Taylor Swift.
yeah. Got it. No, that's reserved for only a few, people. Not.
Exactly, and that's not really the life I've led. I've always had a band, to hide behind. I've never really put out stuff under my name until recently, just because
Yeah.
I liked having the anonymity of being behind a band. Even when it wasn't a band, I pretended it was a band so I could get the gig, and then I'd hire people.
Yeah.
And then somebody recently just said, "Why don't you just go by your name? People know who you are anyway." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." No sense faking it. Might as well just put it out there. And
Mhm.
so that's kind of new. In the last couple of 3 years, like I said, I've pretty much had a band name out front, to where
Yeah.
it appeared as like we were a group when it was really just a bunch of hired people, you know. But I got the gig, got the job done, so can't complain.
That brings me to your songwriting. Where are you at with that, and what are you putting out? What's brewing in that area? I understood you to say sound crafter. I like that.
Yeah, because that's kind of how I feel about it. I write songs all the time. I don't know, I've kind of taken a turn and like I don't really care if I record some of my songs, I play them live. If I record a song and I put it on Bandcamp or whatever, I'll get 3 or 4 downloads. You know, so that's where it tells me that's not really worth it to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just not even going to bother at this point. I've got about 17 new songs that, if you want to hear them, you have to come see me live.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I know a band, the James Carr band, plays no covers. They play all original. And
Oh yeah, no, I know James.
yeah,
Yeah.
whenever you go to his gig, that whole place is packed.
Yeah. Well, he's
People
got a
dance.
good band too, though.
Yeah.
See, the difference of there is he's got a band of guys that have gone and said, "Oh, hey, James, you're awesome. We like you. We're going to play with you and you only."
Yeah.
Those guys, well, I think the guitar player plays in a couple other bands, but the drummer and the bass, they don't play in 10 other bands. Because if you look and go to see a show in Seattle and you see a band on stage and there's 5 people and 4 of those people are in 3 other bands, that's 12
Yeah.
singers now that don't have a gig, that can't tour, that can't do anything because the drummer's got a gig here, or that just doesn't work for me. I've told everybody I've ever played with, if you give me 3 solid years of playing with nobody but me, I will make sure that you don't ever have to worry about not having a gig. I'll put us to work, but you got to give me that time to build it. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
But in 2 years, I could make it happen to where you're going to be playing so much you're going to be like, slow down, Toby. Because that's how I do it, and
Yeah.
I've had to do it before. The last year that I had a full band together was 2018, and I had $10,000 worth of festival gigs booked over the course of 4 or 5 months. Went to everybody, said, "Can you do the gig?" Everybody said yes. Put all the dates in the calendar, we're rehearsed up, and then like 2 weeks before, one of the members, "Oh, I can't do these 3 gigs. Oh, I can't do this one gig." Oh, so now I've got to find 5 drummers to get through 6 gigs. And I just
Yeah.
canceled everything. And I said, no, I'm not going to keep piecing it together, because then your audience only gets a little piece of how it's supposed to be. They're getting a drummer or a bass player that only knows the song, kinda, you know. Well, it's true. They're not getting somebody that owns it. If you're looking at charts and you're looking at an iPad to see how the song goes, you're not feeling it. You're just regurgitating what you see on the paper. And if you're going to own it, you got to own it, and you got to know it inside and out. That's just how it is.
Well, somebody put on here, great interview. Tell me who you are. I want to know. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah. I understand, and yeah, I don't know what the secret is. From 2015, I had a band, and a couple of people moved on to something else or moved out of state, whatever. But most of the time, I had a solid band, and then I came back in. I quit for about 3 years and regrouped and came back in and found a whole different scene. I mean, there, it's the whole lot of things have changed since COVID.
My least favorite word in the music scene right now is project. because a project to me is a shelf from IKEA. You know, you do it once and you leave it alone. You forget about it. You know, that's a project. You know, and a
Yeah.
project to me is putting planters outside of your house. You know, you go outside, you do it once, you work real hard, and then you walk away and you never think about it again.
Right.
So band and music is not a project to me. You know, I don't look at it like that. But, you know, there's a lot of rhythm sections that are out there just going, how much does it pay? They don't care about the music. They just want to get paid. And like I said, then you got however many singers, you know, that can't tour, that can't do anything. And it keeps the whole scene down, really, I think, because not one band then can rise above, right? Because you don't have 4 people working towards one goal. You have one person working towards a goal, trying to carry the other people. And, you know, it's like being a boss and owning your own. Every singer now is their own independent contractor, and they have employees, basically. And there's no band, there's no camaraderie, there's no gang mentality of we're going to knock this stuff out, you know. And that's why you see James Carr doing so well, because it's a family kind of a thing, you know. They're brothers, and that shows in their music. It shows in their playing, because they're tight as fuck. They promote, all of them promote. You know, I can't even tell you how many times I've had people, I'm the only one promoting. I'll watch other people's Facebook and they don't even say, I got a gig tonight with Toby. They don't even say that, you know. So yeah, everybody's relying solely on the singer to get everything done, and then now pay me, you know. But I'm doing all the work. I'm doing the booking, I'm doing the arranging, I'm doing the advancing, I'm doing the songwriting, I'm doing everything. But the drummer is the only guy that's going to get a paycheck, or the bass player, or, you know, because I can't afford to pay myself. And if
I got that.
Yeah, and if I want a good drummer, then the gig's gonna cost me money, you know. So that's where it's at. That's why I play drums with my feet.
Exactly. I get it. Oh, I really get this thing. So we have a question from one of our viewers. He has a band called Dublin Abbey. His name is Patrick O'Donnell, and he said, here, percentage-wise, what would you guess your recording versus live performance balance is?
You mean time spent?
Patrick, can you answer that?
Time spent. It used to be a lot more. I've got a full studio at my house. I used to record every day, all the time. Everything that I ever thought of, I would just go down and record it. But like I said, the last year, I played so many shows last year, I didn't have time. I wasn't barely home, so I didn't really record. I just kind of wrote while I was on the road. I think it's an ebb and flow. You know, you got to go out and do your gigs. And if you have music that people want to hear, then they're going to buy it. You know, I don't know that I have music people want to hear, to be honest. I mean, they might want to come see me play live once in a while, but I do better in Chelan than I do 5 minutes from my house. Yeah. You know, I've got people in Colorado that when I play over there, I can get 35, 40 people out to the venue. But if I play at Daryl's Tavern and my friend lives 5 minutes away, he won't come to the show. You know, it's just like, so, okay, I don't care, you know, whatever. Quite honestly, I don't really think too much about the Seattle scene anymore. I don't really try to put myself in there. If they want me there, they'll call me, I guess, you know, but I'm just trying to figure out my own way. You know, if you just fish out of the same pond, you're only going to get those little tiny fish that are leftovers. You're not going to get anything, you know. I just like touring. I like all of it. You know, I like coming into a new market and playing new venues, and yeah.
So you're kind of doing all of it all at once.
Pretty much, yeah. And when I record, I just come, and depending on the song, you know, I can knock a song out in a day, you know, and play the drums, the bass, the guitars, if I know what I want to do, if I know how the song goes.
Yeah, I heard one of your songs out. I've heard that you're Americana, and since I haven't heard you personally, I don't know where to put you, but I did hear one of your songs. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was sort of back in the, you know, Old West or whatever. I had that kind of vibe, that country vibe.
Kind of a faster song.
Great song, huh?
Pardon? Thank you. Ghost of Indian John Hill, probably on my website.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And I get over there every now and then when I have a few minutes to listen to something else, and I'm thinking, wow, I like it.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Patrick did say that was a great answer, and he wanted to thank you for giving it to
Oh,
him.
thanks, Patrick. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm obsessed with the whole process actually. So yeah, recording is. I think if you have an idea, you should just record. I have stuff on my phone, just from sitting in my van even.
Uh-oh, I lost you. Oh no, come back. Oh yeah. Well, we lost him. Oh,
Not touching anything. I'm not touching anything.
I'm not sure what that was.
I don't either. I didn't touch anything. I swear to God.
An airplane went over the signal, and that was it. Cut you
Yeah.
out. All right. That kind of brings us into a little bit about. There has to have been some floundering even in the airport during COVID. What was on your agenda, and what was going on in your world at that time?
Basically, it was like a shovel to the face.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to gigging out 4 or 5 times a week. I play, at Amazon. I play at the airport. I play in the park. Then I might have a weekend gig at a winery, and so yeah, I already set my studio up for live streaming. At that point, I was getting ready to already do that. So when COVID hit, literally the next day after the shutdown, I was already live streaming and doing my thing.
Yeah.
Then I found like 3 or 4 sites that I could go on and in a couple hours make $50-$60, live streaming and tips and stuff like that. And so I'd wake up in the morning and I'd do a live stream at 10. I'd do another one at noon, on different websites. And I was actually pretty shocked at how much money I made when I got my tax report back and all the stuff. I was like, really? I made that much? Okay,
wow.
Cool. Yeah. But so I went full on into live streaming. I mean, I was doing it every damn day for 4 hours sometimes, depending on how I felt,
Yeah, I never ran across you. I did run across a few other people, but not you. Anyway,
I didn't do much Facebook Live stuff because you can only bang your friends' heads over the thing with your stuff so many times before they give up on you. That guy again. Good Lord, I'm not going to watch that shit. And like I said, I like the thrill of a new audience. So I found this session. It's called Sessions. Was one that I was on. Volume was another one. YouTube was another one I did a bit on. I can't remember the other one. Well, I did Twitch, but that's for gamers. It really wasn't for me. But but Sessions and Volumes, those were the two main ones that I did. And I think I had 18,000 people watching on one of my streams.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I made like.
So why don't you get that in real life? I mean, or do you?
No.
Yeah.
You tell me why I don't get that in real life. Because people are unmotivated. I don't know. Yeah. Especially after COVID, I got friends that tell me I'm never going to a club again. Well, that's what they said. They're like, I'm never going to go out. That COVID spreading, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever, And as you get older, your friends, when the sun goes down, all of a sudden they can't stay awake. And I'm not that way. I'm a complete chronic insomniac. So I'm up at 2 a.m. going, well, I have to get up at 5. Maybe I should sleep for a couple hours, So
that's funny.
I don't understand any of that myself. I mean, I guess I do, but I don't.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. It's hard to drum up support and keep that thing rolling, for years.
Right.
And then, everybody gets their own life and live music. And then I'll see them next time. I'll see them next thing you know, it's been 5 years since they haven't been out to a show.
Yeah, I hear you. I know what you're saying. I get another question. A while back, I interviewed a country singer. His name is Doug Cox, and he spells his first name Dug. Comes from the Vancouver area, and he's with and I'm gonna have to move this a little to see it, but he's from a band called his band Smoke Wagon. He says, "I love this interview. Toby has exactly the same attitude and approach that I have been thrown into. Keep fighting a good fight."
Exactly. I always tell people I'm more stubborn than talented anyway. So that's more basically what it takes. It doesn't take talent. It just takes
Yeah.
blind faith and stubbornness, or being too stupid to know when to quit.
Well, I've had all these barriers, that thrown in my way. I've always managed to go around them or over them or something, but
Exactly.
it is a constant challenge, no
I
doubt.
mean, I had always had a drum that I would like whenever I was trying out drummers or trying to, train somebody up for a show. I'd always put a kick drum over by my mic so I could, show them the tempo and stuff. And
Yeah.
when they start to slow down, I'd speed them back up, and finally I just said, I'm going to make some suitcases and I'm going to make a kick and a snare and I'm going to just do this. And so I've been playing kick and snare suitcases for like 6 years. And then just recently, in October, I got a custom-made real drum set. It's real drums with cymbals and kick and a snare, and I play it with my feet now. And then I use an octave pedal and a couple of pedals. So I've got a bass, I've got drums, I've got guitar, and I play harmonica and sing. I don't need anybody else.
Then all the pay goes to you, and
Exactly.
divide it 3 or 4 ways.
Exactly. That's just it right there.
Yeah. Well, that's not a bad idea. I wish I was talented enough to do that. Unfortunately,
Remember what I said? I'm not talented. I'm just stubborn.
There you go. I think I probably fit that category too.
Yeah.
I should have stopped a long time ago, but I just did not want to do it. So
I don't know what else I would do. I really don't, because I've tried other jobs, I've done other things, and I'm just not suited for, the general population. I'm too goofy to be locked up and too crazy to be running around loose, I guess.
Oh, I get that. That's a category. It's called musicians.
Exactly. Yes.
Excuse me. So have you gotten sick? This RSV has been going around, and the musicians that I engage with at jams and so forth, they've been sick and passed it along, or their customers have passed it along, and just got over a bout of it. And I got COVID a couple times, and I survived. It was, I had a lot of shots.
Yeah.
But anyway, did you get sick from it, or are you?
I did a long time ago, but I'd already had my shots, and I only had to cancel a couple weeks worth of gigs, and then I've been back at it and stuff. I try to keep my health pretty, pretty stable. I'm conscious of what I don't drink, I eat pretty healthy. I try to take my vitamins and all of that good stuff. And, I realized that, that this is my living, and it's like an athlete, you have to work it and take care of your body and all of that. So
exactly.
I'm pretty good about it, about not putting myself in those situations where I would be exposed to that kind of stuff.
So if you had any advice for people that are listening, and people, maybe people that are just starting out, some of us are coming back in and we're finding a whole new world compared to what we knew before. Do you have any, I kind of, this whole thing has been advice, but do you have anything specific that you could nail down that you'd like to tell us?
Be yourself, just don't try to work so hard at being somebody else. It's hard enough being yourself. And if you're true to that, then I think that's what people are going to respond to. If they see you up there trying to be somebody else, well, you're never going to live up to that, So, but if they see you're up there and you're honest in your mistakes and you're honest in your successes, then they're going to respond. They're going to say that guy is that's the real deal. Whether or not you're a virtuoso at your instrument, it doesn't matter. If you can get the 3 chords and the truth out there, then you're doing your job right.
Did you say 3 chords and the truth? That's country.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a country boy. I was my first career choice was professional bull rider. That's what I was going to do when I was 18. I wanted to be a bull rider and a bareback rodeo rider. And then I just decided, this music stuff's a lot easier on my body. And but I rode all through. I started 9 years old riding calves in the rodeo.
We used to work, my husband and I worked for production. He's also a soundman type thing. And we worked for a production company called Rhino in this area. They're out of
Rhino,
Tempe. Yeah. I've done everything. I've rolled cords. I've moved stuff. I thought at the court. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I've been all over. And they had a professional bull riding at the Tacoma Dome, and we were at that one. And God, I thought the bull was going to go right over the enclosure. I mean, I looked at that. I'd only seen one other bull riding thing in Roy, Washington, and this is my second experience with the professional bull riders. And I thought, oh my God, these guys have a death wish.
Yeah, a little bit. Now there's a rush that comes with it that you don't find anywhere else.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Oh Lord.
you're not gonna find that thrill anywhere else by doing anything. I used to race motocross dirt bikes too, so I like to go fast and live hard and all that good stuff.
Well, I had to do that on a snowmobile.
I did that onto anything with wheels or anything like that when I was growing up. I mean, I was driving when I was 13.
Were you living out in the country? Is that what?
Yeah, I had a
Wyoming?
hardship permit, so you could drive when you're 13 during the daylight hours.
Oh.
So yeah, I was driving. And I was going into bars and playing when I was 16. So I grew up fast.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you get in at that age?
Just went in.
Just
did it. Yeah. Some of the places would say, "Oh, you can be on stage, but he can't be in here during the break." So I'd go sit in the van or whatever. And then other places, they didn't seem to care. They'd give me beer. They'd give me anything I wanted. It didn't matter.
Goodness.
Oh yeah.
Wyoming.
Oh yeah. Well, the drinking age was 18. So at that time.
So I've never asked this question before, so I'm going to try with you, Toby.
Uh-oh.
You don't have to answer, but we hear a lot about the rockers, that whole rocky area, and if they live past 24 or 26, it was a miracle. There were a lot of drugs out there, and today, although marijuana is legal here now, and if there's any other drugs out there, I'm not seeing it. I don't have that contact. So do you find there's issues with that when you go out and do things, or does that really never come up?
Well, throughout my career, it has come up. Not for me. I'm not that type of person that needs that kind
you said healthy. You want to stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing tours where everybody else is sleeping off the hangover during the day, and I'm grabbing my rollerblades and going and seeing the town and getting my cardio up so I can sing.
Right. Exactly.
And so I would be doing that while everybody else was nursing a hangover, looking for a connection. I've never done coke. I don't need to. I got more energy than 10 crackheads need, and so I've never had that issue. I like to smoke weed. I don't like to drink because I don't like the way it makes me feel. That's just me. It's not like I had a problem and I had to quit or anything. Right. It just doesn't set well with my system, and but I've had to cut loose band members because they had coke problems or whatever, or alcohol problems, and had to have that talk with them.
Right.
And some of the talk was, you have two choices: you can shut up or get out of the van. Those are your two choices.
And not a good choice there.
No. But I was serious.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's still an issue. I think it's a lot more underground. I think back in the early 90s, it was kind of a badge of honor. People, well, seriously, that's what I saw. Rocks. People, I'm strung out. Oh, and great for you, and then they never bounced back from that, and then all of a sudden, when it wasn't so funny anymore, when people started dying and killing themselves over it, then all of a sudden the record labels, they don't want to take a chance with anybody that's got those issues. So now all of a sudden you have this whole wave of bands that are coming out clean, supposedly. And I can tell you from personal experience that a lot of those bands aren't clean. That's just what they project out there for their image, for the public, So I think it's still underground, otherwise you wouldn't have. I mean, it's still there. It's still there.
Yeah, luckily I have not. I'm sure that's part of it, but I have no personal contact because I try to keep it clean too. I mean, the fastest way to die is to do stupid stuff.
Well, and quite honestly, to me,
Like bull riding.
it's one of those things where I've always looked at it like, what is more important, me being able to sing or me having 3 beers? Me being able to sing is more important to me.
Right.
Once I've never taken the stage drunk. Um, I might back in the day, I might take a beer on stage with me, but that's just something to drink, or something.
Right.
But I've never taken the stage altered and like that on any level. I know that if I did, it would be a shit show, and I don't want to, Well, being the singer, I'm the lungs, I'm
Yeah.
the engine of the whole thing. So if I peter out, then the rest of the band's going to peter out, and I've had bands try to keep up with me cardio wise back in the day, and it'd be like 3 songs in and they're all sucking wind, and I can do a 90-minute set, turn around and do it again, because I was out doing my rollerblades during the day.
Right. So it sounds to me, along with your music, you're also somewhat of an athlete. I mean, obviously, bull
I mean,
riding
I
is
was a
athletic.
wrestler and all that stuff. I wouldn't say I was an
Hiking.
athlete or anything. I was just like, I like to have fun, and when you're in Wyoming, there's not much to do, so you might as well join the wrestling team. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, it's not like I was, I was never on the football team. Well, I was on the football team for a while, but it wasn't like, that wasn't my focus. It was just something to do, to hang out with my friends. Music has always been number one for me. Look back in my yearbooks, even from 7th grade, everybody's, you're going to be a star someday, that kind of stuff. And
Well,
that's all I ever wanted to do, and everybody knew it.
yeah, I think the key to it all is health. I mean, if you are not healthy, you're not going to sing well, period. That's just the way it is.
Yep,
And,
exactly.
and as you get older, you have to do a lot more maintenance than when you were 18.
Oh, you do. But also, too, if you're not healthy, I don't care who you are, you're not going to write at your best. You're not going to track at your best if you're hungover, if you're coming in altered. I used to have a joke. We had a guitar player. I called him the feral guitar player because if you put a 6-pack of beer by his amp, sooner or later he'd show up, and when it was gone, he'd leave.
Gone.
He's like, well, we got a 6-pack out of him tonight,
So we got about 10 minutes. So I like to go into a little bit about promoting how they can, how my listeners can find you, what gigs you have coming up, what songs you might be writing, anything you can think of that would promote who you are in when you go out there to do a gig or write a song or whatever.
Well, right now, just doing my regular day-to-day. My next public show is Saturday night at the Milltown stage in Milton. Mm-hmm. And in between then, I practice at least 4 hours a day, every day, no matter what. Even if I have a gig that afternoon, or I'll play that night. I don't care. I'll go home. It's just a thing. You can go to my website, tobybrady.com, Bandcamp, all that good stuff. I'm out there. Got all that, YouTube or Instagram or whatever. You can find me all on all those places. Then it's just basically just look at my calendar and see where I'm at. Like, I think I have over 100 and some gigs booked already this year.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing that, I know I did put some. I think it was your website on the Facebook and on Matured Musicians. Also, this is going out. I have a following on YouTube. For those people who don't want to join Matured Musicians or don't have a Facebook account, they can still watch.
Oh, excellent! Yeah.
So it's broadcasting there too, and cool. I have not as many people here, but I do have at least anywhere from 25 to 50 people that actually show. You don't always see them. They're not,
right.
Everything is going to be there, but they're pretty faithful about watching these. So
nice. Well, yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it also goes. I also will give you, where they have the share button, and it gives you a code so that you have that if you want to use it in your EPK or whatever.
Nice.
And it's also, this is digital, so it's internationally broadcast. And I have a couple of listeners from overseas. So it's not just local. It goes out everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's what I love about the internet. You know,
Yeah.
that's why I was doing live streaming. You know, I was playing for people in Australia,
Yeah.
all over the place. I loved it, and I'd come on, and every week they'd show up. You know, and they were, you know, I had a good little thing. Like I said, at one point on Volume, I had 18,000 people watching one of my streams.
Yeah. Wow.
I was blown away. It just kept,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
every time I blinked, the number was going up. I was like, what the hell, you
Wow.
know?
Yeah. What was the name of that?
It was called Volume. Is the name of the website.
Volume.
Yeah,
It's a what website?
it's a live streaming website. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
and they have live music there. They've got other stuff, but it's basically, I think it was designed for live streaming. Um, there's a lot of stuff there. If you go to my website right now, that you can see an old live stream that I had posted from there. They have links that you can, you know, ebb that into your website and stuff like that.
All right.
So
Sounds like good information. So
yeah, Volume, I highly recommend them to, if you want to do that. I think they're based out of Nashville, and it's what I found with some of them, like all of us, you know, what started off as a singer-songwriter now as a DJ, you know, so you get all these people coming on to do a live stream, and they're up there spinning records, and it's not really a live stream. I mean, they're streaming and they're live, but I don't know. It wasn't geared for musicians, but Volume seems to be geared towards musicians.
Got it. Somebody said, great interview. So
oh, thank you.
Someone else is liking it, but they didn't leave their names. So
that's all right.
Anyway, so in the future, do you have any, I may have missed it, but did you have any plans to do any more live streaming, or you pretty much know?
Oh, no, I still do.
Still do?
I try to just look at it like it's a specialty thing now. I've still got my cameras set up in my studio, and whenever I feel like I have a new song or I've got a collection of new, I'll go on live and I'll try them out. And, you know, it forces you, you know. Volume, yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's a link to my Volume page up there.
I will definitely check that out.
Yeah, there's links to all that on my website, and yeah, so I still do that. It's not as lucrative as it was, like, you know, during pandemic, obviously, because things have come back.
Yeah.
So there's not as many people doing it.
Yeah, they're busier.
So, yeah, they're out actually playing gigs, and the nice thing with Volume is you can sign up and you can actually live stream your gig to their thing. You can charge money, you can sell tickets to your live stream, all kinds of stuff. They've got a very good infrastructure there for all that kind of stuff. If you're doing a specialty event and you want to charge for it, then you can do that.
Yeah, that sounds great. Also, when you just going back to the airport again and your airport gig, so when you are, one more time, how they find that, is that also on your website?
No, I don't put those on my website too much, because I'm playing on the inside of the airport. You have to have a ticket to get where I'm at, so it's not like the general public can just come see me, you know. Okay. So sometimes I'll post on Facebook, you know, I'll be at SeaTac today or something like that, but it's if you don't have a ticket, you're not gonna, it doesn't matter. I call that my day job, you know, because it's a lot of fun. You're reaching a whole new audience, and there's no pressure to how many people are you going to bring, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's during the day, so you know, I'm done by whenever my shift is done. I'm done for the day, you know.
Right. So what do you look for when you are trying to sort out these people and figure out who makes the cut? What do you look for?
Well, professionalism, presentation, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Same thing any promoter or anybody would look for. You look at their website, make sure they're not, you know, playing at the porta potty, you know, or whatever, that kind of stuff. You know, make sure they got legit gigs, make sure they're legit artists, that they present themselves, you know, they don't have a big political message or a big, you know, racist message or whatever on their website. You know, you never know what people are standing for, you know. So, you know, the airport especially, you know, you don't, it's not a place, it's not the type of gig where you go out and make a stand, you know.
How many people do you limit it to? One person, or?
What do you mean?
How many people? I've only seen singles play. I've only seen Dave and
Well, oh, right,
Michael.
right. I get. Yeah, no, there's duos that play. Usually it's a single or a duo, just because that's logistically easier. And there's sound systems that are provided, to artists, so it's just easier as a duo. If anything more than that, it's like it's too much.
Yeah.
They're kind of just looking for solos and duos.
How do you keep the volume down?
Turn it down.
So I get it. All right.
No, I mean, you got the sound guy that runs with it. They have an 80 decibels limit, at 35 feet. So, I mean, if you got to look at it like if you're singing along and you're playing and you're thinking, man, a drummer could join in right now, you're probably too loud.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not playing for the back of the room at the airport. You're playing for the 25, 30 feet in front of you.
Right.
You're not. I'm not worried about crank that sucker up and let the whole airport hear me, because I'll have TSA over there going, turn that shit down. You're there for ambiance.
Yeah.
You're there for those people that are walking by and for the people that want to hear it. The people that don't want to hear it, they're going to go far away. That's
exactly.
Yeah, and I don't. And like I said, I don't care about them. I'm not concerned about them. They're not there for that anyway. So if it's too loud, you turn it down. I mean, you just you just get it loud enough. Most of the time, you get loud enough for the artist to hear themselves. The bleed over is enough. It's not like I have a mains and a monitor and a whole.
Exactly.
It's just one little Bose tower. You throw some vocals and some guitar through it. There you go. Done deal. And It's nice and simple setup, and you're on your way.
Is it a paying gig, or do they just?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's a paying gig. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, they pay a flat fee, plus you get to keep all your tips. So it's a nice thing, and if you do it right and work the crowd, it's a good day.
Yeah, sounds like it. Have you played it?
What's that?
Do you do it too? Do you play too?
That's what I did. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you think was your best time and worst time in this whole, from the beginning when you first started until now?
I mean, right now, I'm kind of feeling right now is my best time, because I feel I played a show on Saturday, and I was happy with everything. My voice is better than it ever has been to me. I'm writing better than I ever have in the past, because I'm coming from a more educated place of writing. But then again, I look back and, the 90s were pretty fun too. I had a good time whenever you can sell out the Rock Candy, or the Off Ramp or whatever. I was playing sold out shows, so that was a good time. Then there's the worst time was, I had a couple band members that passed away, fairly close together, and I had a record in the can that wasn't finished, and I had to put it away for like a year and a half because I couldn't even listen to it, because they're on there laughing and talking and playing, and finally I finished it and put it out, and that was a hard time.
Yeah, I agree. That would be difficult. I've had a leader to die on me, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's a real kick in the teeth.
And when they're 34, it's not supposed to happen.
No, that's way too young.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we only have 2 minutes.
All
Do we
right.
have any closing thoughts before we adjourn for now?
I don't know. Just don't stop. That's what I tell people is just, you ain't doing it till you're doing it. Until your pant legs are wet, you're not in the creek, So just jump in and do it,
Gotcha.
That's I have a guitar student that I mentor and teach, and we're working on songwriting, and he's always, got an excuse. Oh, well, I didn't practice last night because, whatever came up and I had to do the dishes. And like, no. Let the dishes sit in the sink. Write a song,
Gotcha. Well, I have another comment here. It says, awesome, Toby, right on. Right on, man.
Cool.
So I'm not sure who that is, but I think this is a good place to wrap it up. I have
Alrighty.
maybe 50 seconds left. So I really want to thank you a lot for coming here. I know you're a busy
Thank you.
man, and I'm glad you made the effort. And I hope the people that will watch as they come home from work and whatever enjoy and go out and see them.
Thank you. Yep. Saturday night, Milton, at the
Yeah.
Milltown stage.
Yeah, I don't know. Milton. That's where.
That's south.
Yeah, that's where
Yep.
my lead is, and that's where Luscious Moss is. But it's just the next one over called Edgewood. Know
Okay.
that town well, so I will see. I'll see if I can't get to it myself.
There
When
you
does
go.
it start?
8 to 10.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, Toby, thanks again, and
No
we'll
problem.
see
Thank
you down
you.
the road.
Yep.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that's it for now. Next Monday, I have the Davino's Band, Jerry Batista, and Fred, and finally Gary, yourself. And do join us. Thank you so much for listening today. Until I see you down the road. Bye-bye. Let's see if I can get out of here again today. All right.